Leasehold versus Freehold versus Bitcoin. Why Bitcoin is the only true ownership. Do you really own the home? When you buy a house, you probably think you own it. But do you? What if I told you that even a house paid in full can still come with hidden costs, and that Bitcoin of all things might be the only thing you can truly own? Let's start with properties. There are two ways to buy: freehold or leasehold. Freehold, you own the building and the land. Leasehold, you own the building temporarily, but you don't own the land. With leasehold, you're still at the mercy of a landlord. The downside of leasehold is that ground rent can increase, as well as service charges, and you need permission whenever you want to modify or make a sale of the house. You're still under control, just like a long-term renter, but with more paperwork. So what about freehold? That's better, right? Yes, but even then, you're still not totally free. You still have to pay council tax, any insurance, maintenance. You're subject to government regulation, and if you're deemed a bad person, a Russian oligarch who pays taxes, then they can still confiscate your properties. You might own the building and the land, but it still exists within a system that can be taxed, regulated, or be seized. The system owns the rules. What about static caravan owners? It's a trap. You might own the caravan, but you don't own the land you settled it in. So when lease fees goes up or resale options disappear, you're stuck, often forced to sell back at a loss to the landlord. So these landlords can overprice the lease on you, which you may try to sell the caravan, but no one is buying it from you because the ground rent is so high. So you end up selling the caravan back to the landlord. They sold you the caravan at a high price, only to increase the ground rent, and now you have to sell it back to them at a lower price than what you bought. It's a scam. Don't fall for it. And commercial properties are worse. Imagine running your own business. Your landlord can increase your lease every year, which means you have less profits. Your profits drains. This is exactly what happened to Toys R Us. They used to own most of its store buildings, but after it was bought out by private equity firms, they sold their real estate to raise quick cash. That meant Toys R Us no longer owned the land these stores were built in. They had to pay rent to the landlords. Over time, landlords got greedy and increased the rent. With the company already buried in debt from the buyout, as well as competitors like Amazon and Walmart overtaking them in online sales, they couldn't keep up with the rising lease costs. So this only added pressure to an already struggling business, and eventually, Toys R Us went bankrupt. Now, this is where it gets interesting. With Bitcoin, it is a digital land. There is no landlord, no ground rent, no property tax, no middleman. There is no one to seize, inflate, or restrict it. You either hold the keys to your Bitcoin wallet or you don't. Bitcoin is digital property with zero counterparty risks. No one can change the terms on you. Not a government, not a landlord, no one. It is true digital ownership, self-custody, and borderless. So here's my final thought. If you're gonna buy a property, you must buy it as a freehold, not leasehold. When you own a freehold property, all you really pay legally to own it is council tax. Other expenses like utility bills, maintenance, insurance, and mortgage can all be micromanaged. But when you buy a property on a lease, you have to pay council tax and ground rent, and these landlords can be ruthless with the amount they collect from you. Even when you buy something physical like a house, there are still strings attached. But with Bitcoin, a digital commodity held in your own wallet, in your mind, there are no landlords, no rent, no permissions, no reoccurring fees, which means there are zero counterparty risks with Bitcoin. Property gives the illusion of ownership. When a system controls your assets, you are never truly free. Bitcoin gives real sovereignty. You truly own it outright. If you learned something of value, I'd appreciate you leave a like and subscribe to this channel. My name is Clyde, and I'll see you in the next video.